Hey all, here are OS Reviews. Today we're taking a closer look at the Winbridge T9. This is called a karaoke speaker system. It claims to pack two subwoofers, or rather passive radiators, along with a tweeter, and it also supports both a wireless microphone that's included. You can use it for karaoke, you can use it for broadcasts, making announcements. There's also a wired microphone that's also included. You can also connect it to instruments such as electric guitars to use it as an amp, which is pretty interesting. It's also using Bluetooth 5.0. So another function is as a traditional Bluetooth speaker. It has a 4,000 milliamp hour capacity battery, which is going to last at around 6 hours in the microphone broadcast mode and up to 8 hours when you're using it as a speaker. It's constructed out of aluminum and stainless steel, and it weighs in at over 10.5 pounds. So as far as the accessories are concerned, we have a quick user manual here right on top. We also have the microphones. The first one, which is wireless, is also constructed out of aluminum and feels incredibly sturdy and hefty. We have a small display here that you can use to see if the mic is actually turned on. It's also backlit, so it can be seen even in darker environments. This wireless mic is also rechargeable using a micro USB port. Other contents include a built-in remote control, so you can use it to adjust different settings. You can even change your voice from being kind of in a acoustic setting into someone that has a child's voice, a lady's voice, a man's voice, a baby's voice. You can also create different sound effects like cheering effects. We also have a pretty heavy-duty kind of charger. There's also a smaller wall outlet using USB that takes just a micro USB. That's for the wireless microphone. We even get some sets of auxiliary 3.5mm cables. That's meant for connecting a phone, a computer, anything that you may want to use wired instead of using Bluetooth. Here we have the second microphone, which is the wired one. So we have this cable here that you need to then just plug in using this tip. All of these components are being made out of metal, and this microphone is incredibly hefty. Now we have the T9 itself, which as aforementioned is built like a tank, super solid and hefty, with lots of metal accents going on that make it just feel like a very premium product. And as it should, because the pricing for this unit isn't the cheapest that we've seen. Now on the front here we do have a display, which is a LED. That's a turn-on chime, so you are able to see things like the time and date and what mode it's in. You can also see controls on the side here for adjusting things like play, pause, skip track commands, changing the mode that it's in. For example, as a Bluetooth speaker versus using it for the announcement mode.
Bluetooth is
toggle back and forth, and there are voice prompts that tell you that process as well. And on the very top we have some additional adjustments, which these functions are also duplicated on the remote, so you can use it from afar. You can do things like do the voice changing from acoustic and popular. This is basically going to just add some echo into your sound, and we can just do a quick demo. Hello, this is a test. And the microphone volume can be adjusted over here. It can also be adjusted on the mic itself, as you can see there, just by changing either the channel or long holding to adjust the volume. Now, as you can hear there's a bit of an echo, and that is a part of the professional and popular mode. So these just add a little bit of a chamber effect. So this is a test of professional versus popular, which is slightly more reduced in terms of the echo, versus acoustic, which is just a neutral sound without any echo, just amplified. Other ones here are just for changing your voice. For example, if we tap on the baby, this is a baby test. And here's a lady, lady's voice test. And a man, this is a deeper voice test. And it does, in fact, work. Right now we're only at, I would say, about 60% volume, so it can get plenty loud, especially if you are pointing the microphone closer to your mouth and talking into it. So for sure, if you're trying to sing, if you're trying to talk over a large crowd, this will do the trick. One thing I will say though is, as a wireless microphone, kind of all the wireless ones we've seen, doesn't produce necessarily the most audiophile sound. You can still hear a little bit of static if you listen super closely, or distortion. And that's really just a natural part of the radio frequency technology that's being used for the wireless mic. So if you want to improve the quality and make it really pure, you want to make it free from any background noise or hiss, I would still recommend to use the wired microphone. One of the downsides though is this little dial here, which looks really neat and has this mechanical switch for changing the volume, isn't as intuitive as what I'd like it to be. In fact, it only works when you're using it as a Bluetooth speaker when connected to your phone or computer and playing back music. When you're using using for the microphone, adjusting this won't do anything. You have to change the volume using the mic up and down keys or tapping on the volume keys on the actual microphone itself. This, again, won't affect the volume coming out of the speaker in the UFH microphone amplification mode. Now, if we kind of turn it around and take a look at the design from the rear here, we have access to the aforementioned charging port. This one here is for the microphone input for the wired mic, and the second one here uses a standard analog port for connecting, again, guitars and other instruments you may want to amplify. There's also the aforementioned micro SD card that you can use to plug in any music. Same thing with a thumb drive that you can plug in using it as a music player, basically. We also have the headphone jacks, and finally there's a power on-off switch that works as expected. And we can kind of see where the passive radiators, where the bass comes out from, versus on the front here, if we point it towards the light, it's going to be more of that tweeter and kind of higher frequency sound. So you can see kind of the drivers underneath, which is pretty neat. So right now we have the wired microphone connected, and you can see this is what it sounds like. It also works really well, feels extremely premium and solid in the hand. One thing I want to point out here is you can use both microphones at the same time and they will both still be recognized. So the wired and wireless don't interfere with each other, they're not separate modes. For example, one person can be talking with this, you can give the wireless one to another person and they can still talk into it. So if we turn that other microphone here on and do a quick test, hello, this is a test with the wireless mic. Here we have the wired mic, and you can see that both of these are turned on. So now we're connected to our phone using Bluetooth, and again, this dial can be used for the sound of the music coming out using the Bluetooth mode. It goes up to 30. Some takeaways here is the audio quality is extremely good. Bluetooth 5.0 adds plenty of clarity, so you don't have really any noticeable hints of distortion or static as you're listening to the music, and also the range is quite good. There's really no interruptions. Even as you take the phone a little further away and maybe walk around the room with it, it's still connected quite well. The music quality itself is also exceptional, especially the bass. It packs such clarity and precision as it hits those drum beats, and especially with EDM type music, if you're a bass head, it becomes so satisfying. It's not necessarily overpowering either, but for a speaker that's still relatively portable, definitely has one of the most impressive, well-balanced bass experiences that I've encountered thus far. So those two passive radiators on the rear really do pack a punch and makes a pretty big difference. It kind of shakes the table a little bit as it hits those notes, but doesn't muddy up the mids or trebles either. So very impressive, super comfortable even for listening to music for longer stretches of time. Great for that. Now, even as we're playing music using Bluetooth, the microphone is still activated. I can still talk into it as the music is playing back. And that's the part where you can classify it as a karaoke machine, because you can sing along to acoustic tracks in the background, play back from any source. So that's more or less it for our hands-on review of the Winbridge Home Hi-Fi Audio T9 speaker system. So a great, I think, amplification unit, karaoke speaker unit, if you are willing to shell out a little bit extra, paying for that top-of-the-line construction quality, and also the fact that you basically have all the features that you would need packed into a pretty small system. You can check out more details if you are interested in the links down below. But for now, that's been our video. Thanks for watching here at OS Reviews. That's been the Winbridge T9.